Hi, my name is Tina, I am Head of Design of Victoria Designs, and if you're watching this video, it means we are launching a new project pack. Now quickly, what is a project pack? We asked you what are the biggest roadblocks when you start crafting, and the results were pretty clear. Inspiration, what am I going to create? And selection, which printables am I going to choose, which fit together and which don't. Our project packs are the solution to this problem. Complete packs with everything that you need to make a beautiful crafting project, including a very detailed and clear video tutorial. We have launched mega project packs before, but they can be pretty overwhelming due to their size, even for the most experienced crafter. And that's why we regularly also like to launch some smaller project packs, like the one I'm going to show you today. These are smaller, easier and faster to complete. And now without further ado, let me show you our newest project pack. So here it is, our Nautical Junk Journal project pack. This mini pack can be used to make this beautiful journal. It contains 24 horizontal journal pages, a paper pack with 8 papers and 6 sheets with embellishments. And of course you can use this project pack to make numerous super beautiful crafts. I am going to show you one way to make a journal. All the materials and tools that you need to make this journal are listed in the description of this video and also in the item description in our shop. And if you would like to discover more details about this pack in our shop, the link is below as well. Okay, so let me show you what is in this Nautical Junk Journal project pack. Of course, we have a lot of journal pages. This is what the sheet will look like. The pages are, when spread open, 7 inch and 3/4 by 10. So you can make 7 inch and 3/4 by 5 inch pages when you fold them in half. And these are the other pages. You see very nice colors, very pretty designs. And these are the other pages, and I already cut them out to make the journal, of course. And on the back, I included some more full page designs. And even if your printer cannot print borderless, it'll be a little bit larger than your page. So if you cut out the front, you won't have any white edges. And there are 6 of these quite neutral pages included. So let me show you the ones that I already cut out. I'm going to quickly show you a few. Some are more neutral, as you see, and some are more embellished as usual. So you can choose which one you use, where and how. See? So look at these. Lots to choose from. So there are 24 different designs. 24. Okay, you have an idea of what they look like. We put these aside. And then we also have 8 full-size papers. Like, actually, this is a paper pack. And quickly, upside down. Quickly going to show you. All very nautical inspired. Oh, it's so pretty. Like this. This should be like this. Oh yeah, this one is also full page like these, but I'm going to use this one, look how pretty, for the cover of my journal, and that's why I chose to print it smaller. So I didn't waste too much ink. Yay! And there are also 6 pages of embellishments like this. See? All kinds of embellishments, nautical inspired, to decorate your journal, to decorate the cover or the inside of your journal. And there you go. I am going to make my cover from scratch, and for that you need 3 pieces of cardboard, the front and the back cover. The front and the back cover are 5 1/8 inch by 8 inch. And the spine, the middle piece, is also 8 inch high but 1 inch wide. And this journal will hold 3 signatures of 8 pages each. The first thing I'm going to do is to cover the front and the back cover. I cut out the pieces that I want to use for my cover. Let me put them the right side up, okay. And I'm going to put some double-sided tape along the edge, as close to the edge as possible, and add some strong glue stick in the middle. So I just realized my strong glue stick is empty, so I'm going to use normal glue stick. I think a strong one is a bit better, but this is a good opportunity for me to try out a normal glue stick. Perhaps that's already enough, I'm not sure. But if you want to be sure, please use a strong one or other very strong glue. Okay, so I cut my papers, so there's about 1/2 inch on each side. About a centimeter is enough. It's actually too much, but okay. So place it in the center, place it straight. And then cut the corners, but leave a millimeter gap here. Now, if your cardboard is thicker than a millimeter, leave a bit more, but not if you have like a millimeter big cardboard. If you have too much, the paper is going to stick together, etc. It's going to be a bit of a mess. Don't cut too much at this angle, but more like this angle. There, till the corner, 1 millimeter from the corner. And then cut at this angle. So you will really cover the whole cardboard. Do the same with all corners. This. And then add some more tape on these tabs against the fold. It's all right if your tape doesn't manage to fill the whole width of the tape, and you can cut off the excess, or you can anticipate this and make your tabs a bit smaller up front, like I should have done, or just leave it. That's what I'm gonna do. Just leave it. Like this. Okay. So. Then remove the backings and fold over. So what I like to do is first do the short ones and then the long ones, or vice versa. But don't do, I used to do this in the past. Don't do this one, this one, this one, this one. Because then it's not as perfect as if you would do these ones first and then these ones. Okay, fold over. By the way, I totally forgot to mention, I used 160 grams paper for this. This is quite heavy paper for this. It's not necessary unless your cardboard is from an old cereal box or something. Then regular paper is probably a bit too see-through, but for regular grey cardboard, 80 grams is actually perfect, like the normal paper stuff. But yeah, I like to sometimes make it a bit more fancy and sturdy, and that's why I used 160 grams paper, but not necessary. So pull down so you won't have any air gaps between the cardboard and the paper. So I've done top and the bottom. Now the sides. Fold. Yeah, really pull it if you're using heavy paper, like this. And then the other side. And your first front or back cover is ready, and then do exactly the same with the other piece of paper and the other piece of cardboard. So I covered both cover pieces, and now I'm going to show you how to attach it to the spine. And for that we need some tape. This is about 2-inch wide tape, about 5 centimeters, and it is a paper tape. You get a big roll for not a lot of money, and you can make a lot of journals with this. Now make sure if you buy this that the surface isn't shiny and smooth, because there are tapes that stick very well, but you can't stick anything on here, and that's actually quite important. So test this out if you can stick something on here with double-sided tape or with a strong glue. Because if you don't, you can't use this technique. It's very, very important. This is a kind of paper tape, a packing tape. And I like it very much because it sticks. And you can stick stuff on there as well. So I'm going to cut a piece of tape that is a bit more than twice the height of this journal. We'll cut off the rest later. So put it down, sticky side up, and then take your spine piece and put it in the center. Now, height-wise, it doesn't matter if it's in the center or not, but it must be in the center here and as straight as possible, because otherwise you're really going to notice. Okay, happy with that? And then take a scrap piece of cardboard that's about 1 millimeter wide. Put it upright next to, like really right next to this spine piece. And then take your cover piece. Make sure it's straight. Make sure you line the top and the bottom up with the spine and then slide it downwards like this. And then take away this piece, and now you have a very nice straight gap here. Okay, make sure this sticks and repeat on the other side. So yeah, put this piece next to the spine piece, no gaps. And then take your cover and slide it down. Make sure the top and the bottom are aligned like this. And take away this piece. Voila, another straight gap. And then take the bottom part and tape it up like this. Go in those gaps with your bone folder or another tool. Like this. And then the top. Okay, that's a bit too much, so I'm gonna cut a bit off. And put this down as well. Go in the gaps, make sure everything sticks. Turn around and also make sure this sticks and go into those gaps. And now you have a very flexible cover that can hold the inside of a journal. Now the inside of the cover we're going to tackle later. And to attach all these journal pages inside the cover, we're going to make an inner spine. Now, this is a piece that is, let me see, of course, it's 7 3/4 inch high by 2 inch wide. And this is as high as the pages. It's the same height. And these pages we're going to sew in here, and then we're going to glue this piece with the pages inside the cover. That's the idea. And before I'm going to measure everything, I'm going to fortify this piece. This is about 160 grams paper. And I'm gonna put some of this tape on the back as well. This is probably a bit too large. And again, make sure this is a tape that can hold other stuff as well. So you can glue stuff to this. Like this. Cut off the excess if you have some. And now I am going to make some markings on this back. And first I'm going to mark the center on top and on the bottom. So the center of 2 inch is obviously 1 inch. I'm gonna make a marking on the top and on the bottom. 1 inch. And I'm going to connect those markings. There. And now I'm going to measure 1/4 inch on that side and 1/4 inch on that side here as well, and connect the markings as well. So I will have 3 lines. That's about 1/2 centimeter is okay. Can be 6 millimeter. It really doesn't matter that much. So don't worry about these markings. These will disappear. You won't see anything. Okay. And now I'm going to measure the half of this piece. Now this piece is 7 3/4 inch, so that makes 3 7/8 inch from one side, and that's exactly the middle, the center. Connect the lines, and I'm going to do the same. No, it's not super straight. Let me try that again. That's better. And now I'm going to do the same about, yeah, 1.5 inches from the top and the bottom. You can make it 1.25 inches if you like, you choose. I'm going to mark 1.5 inches here from the side, and here also 1.5 inches. Same here. And connect the markings like this. There. And now you have 9 points where the lines cross. Here, 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 here. And I'm going to punch those holes. I'm gonna take a mat to protect my work surface and just punch these holes. There. Now, for the journal pages, in total these are 24 sheets, and I divided these in 3 piles of 8 each. And then I fold them in half, like this. And of course I chose the order of the pages. And then I used this template to punch holes here in the center. How did I do that? Simple. My mats. I took my pages on top of each other. If you think, oh no, my pages are going to move, put binder clips or other clips on the sides and you're safe. And then use this template, line it up side to side, top to bottom on the page, and then you can see in the center where you can punch the 3 holes. And do that with every of these signatures. Because a pile of paper folded in half that will be sewn into a book is called a signature. The next step that I did is purely optional. That is, if you fold these in half, some pages will be a bit longer, some pages will be a bit shorter. And you can leave it as that, but you see mine are now super straight, and that is because I put them under a guillotine trimmer. And I only chopped off 1/16 of an inch, not more. So that's not very much, like a millimeter. If you don't have a guillotine trimmer, make sure you have a cutting mat, a metal ruler and a heavy-duty craft knife. Line up your metal ruler where the pages start to be a bit uneven. Push the ruler down and then softly slide the heavy-duty craft knife over the pages. Don't put on too much pressure, and of course make sure your blade is sharp. Don't use a dull blade, of course. And keep sliding and cutting until all the pages are cut. And then you have a bit of a nicer finish. Of course, I used all the journal pages that are in this project pack, but of course, you can use regular paper, or you can mix these up with regular paper and just basically use what you want. And these pages have been printed on 80 grams paper, by the way. They don't need to be printed on heavier paper. Of course, you can do that, but then everything will be a bit more bulky. And now it's time to sew these pieces into this inner spine. And my favorite thread is still simple embroidery thread. Why? Because it's sturdy. It comes most of the time in 6 threads, and I mostly use 3, so I just pull them apart and unwind them until I have strands of 3 threads instead of 6. And I made them roughly a bit more than twice the height of this spine piece. So you have a bit of thread left to actually handle and sew and make knots, etc. So take a thread, pull it through the needle, like this. And then take one of the signatures, go inside out through the middle hole. It's a very simple 3-hole stitch. And then choose one of the middle holes on the inner spine. I'm going to choose the top one. And then when you go out, make sure one of your fingers or your hand is holding this tail, because it slips away very easily If you don't want to use one of your fingers, add a little clip or a paper clip or something to prevent it from sliding through the hole. But I'm just going to hold it like this. Okay, and then go to either one of the side holes, go back in, of course on the same row, very important. Go back in and go inside the holes of the paper again, of the journal pages. When you're back in, make sure it's tight, not too tight of course, but make sure you don't have like these loose ropey ends in between. Go all the way to the other side, back out, and in the meantime still keep holding this piece of thread through the pages and through the inner, hello, spine. See, slipping away like this. Make sure it's tight enough. And then for the last time, go back in through the middle hole, the center hole, through the spine and through the pages. When you come through, try to put your needle on the other side of the thread that your tail is. You can do this afterwards as well, but it's easier this way. Go all the way through. See, one tail on each side of this middle thread. Make sure you don't have any excess ropey thingies. You can pull it if you like a little bit, and then just make a double knot over the center image thread, of course. Snip the ends, et voila. Then take your bone folder and fold the pages on the both sides, and then do exactly the same with the other two threads and sew this in. This one or another one on the middle row and one on the bottom row. I just sewn in the three signatures. This is what it looks like on the back. And between the signatures, there's of course a 1/4 inch gap, 1/2 centimeter, but this gives you some wiggle room to actually add stuff to this journal. And all the pages fold open very good. Next step is to attach this in here. And of course, we want this to stick very well. First, I'm going to add a border of double-sided tape. This tape sticks quite good, so I'm happy, but some tape doesn't stick very well. And I advise you to use some tape that sticks very well. Go for the extra sticky stuff if you need. I'm going to start with making a border. I like clean edges. Of course, you can use glue all over as well, or tape all over as well, providing that it sticks enough, of course. Like this. Make sure this tape isn't going anywhere. Remove all the backings. This. Make sure your cover is the right side up. And then place this smack in the middle and make sure there's about 1/8 inch gap here and here as well. It's about 3 millimeters. Yep. When you're heavy, carefully glue this down on both sides. I used 160 grams paper for this, but don't make it too heavy as well, because otherwise it's going to stick harder. And that's why I used the tape on the back, so it wouldn't be too thick, but also it would have some sturdiness. Okay, and then go in these gaps again, because here we're going to make our fold, and it's a bit tricky. I didn't pre-fold it, because I like the nature of the journal to decide where it would fold. Okay, carefully make sure it sticks before you start to fold this. Okay, then the other side as well. I'm gonna turn it around. First, go into that gap again. Make sure not to tear the paper, of course. And then close it. Like really work it. Work this spine like this. And then when you're sure, fold the spine this way and then the other way just a little bit. And there it is. And before I'm going to glue in my inner covers, I'm going to add some ribbons. I cut 2 ribbons, about 12" each. They're a bit of an icy blue color. And what I'm going to do is first I'm going to make a marking in the middle. These covers are 8 inches high, so that's 4 inches. This is center. Gonna make a marking on this side as well. 4 inches there. And then I'm going to take a piece of tape and glue it here. And I'm gonna keep a bit more than 1/8 inch from the side because otherwise it'll be exposed when we put in the inner covers, of course. So gonna put a piece here and I'm gonna pull the backing off. Take one of my ribbons, make sure the shiny side is out if it has a shiny side. And about 2 inches, I'm going to stick it in here. There. That's all. And I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Add about a 2-inch piece. It doesn't really matter that much. Make sure to stay it's a bit more than 1/8 inch from the side. Stick it down. Remove the backing. Take a ribbon and about 2 inch from the side. Stick it down. There. And now for the inner spines, I cut 2 pieces of the paper pack that's in this project pack. And they are both 7 inch and 3 1/4 high. So just the same height as the pages. These are 4 7/8 inch wide. And I chose one with these boats and compasses, etc. and one with these shells. Oh, actually, I'm going to add some ink on the edges. Because otherwise it's going to look a bit too clean, I think. If you like clean, keep it clean, of course. You can make this kind of journal with totally different papers as well. There. This is a very light beigey color, my favorite color for inks. Because I don't want to overdo it, and I think a little goes a long way and already has a big impact. Yeah, I'm gonna put this here, so double-sided tape on the back. On all 4 sides. And then, as usual, remove the backings and add some glue in the center. Now, I use a normal glue because my strong glue is empty. And this probably will work as well, but I advise you to use something stronger, just in case. And then put this in, align it with the top of this inner spine, and keep an 1/8 inch border all around. That's about 3 millimeters. I'm gonna turn it like this. Then I have a better overview of the whole situation. Okay, there we go. And this finishes everything. It hides the ribbon and it hides this inner spine and how it is, how it's inserted here. So here, and then do the same on the front. So, and then basically your book is done. Of course, the ribbons are completely optional. You can just leave it. And this book is ready to be embellished and filled with memories and stories and beautiful other things. Okay, and now for a decoration for on the cover. This is a bonus tutorial, to say so. I have 3 punches. 2 inch, 1.5 inch and 1 inch. I wish I had them a bit bigger, like 3 and 2.5, if that even exists, and 2, but I have to do it with these. And I'm going to make a porthole. I'm going to use this leftover scrapbooking paper. It's about 250 grams. It's quite heavy. You can use papers from the paper pack as well, but probably won't be as thick. And these are leftovers, so these are perfect to use. They have a bit of a nautical aqua color as well. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is, let's get rid of this. Punch 1 circle with the biggest circle punch, 2 inch. Like this. Now I'm going to punch. You can choose the same paper. I'm going to choose this paper. I'm going to cut a 1 inch circle, but I'm going to make sure I'm staying at least 1/4 inch from this side and this side. I can't go much further, so I don't have a lot of choice. There. I'm not going to do anything with this. I want the hole. Now I'm going to take my 1.5 inch punch and I'm going to center this 1 inch in the center here. Now, I kind of wish that this punch had some markings. I can put them on there, but I'm not going to do that right now, to make sure that I can center this hole to make a lovely ring. There. Here's my ring. And I can put it right here. Now, if you like, you can make a few of these to raise this ring up a bit. So I have 3 of these rings. You don't have to make more, but I made them. Of course, if you're eyeballing this like I do, make sure the hole is at the same place. Okay, what I'm going to do now is divide this ring in 6 pieces. And I'm not going to eyeball that. I'm going to use this old-fashioned thingy from school. No idea what it's called in English, sorry. So I have to eyeball one thing, that is putting this cross in the center of my circle. And actually I'm going to make the markings on the back, so you won't see them later. That's about in the center, and I'm going to make a marking here. Then I need to go 60 degrees further. Yeah, it doesn't have to be super mega strict, but almost good. So this is 0 degrees, 60 degrees plus 60 degrees is 120 degrees. That's about here. And then, of course, here again. And then I'm gonna turn this around, line this thingy up again with those 2. And then again, 60 degrees here and 120 degrees here. And then I kind of divided my circle into 6 parts. And then I'm gonna punch these holes. So I have now 6 holes. Be careful, because if you pull it too hard, you're gonna rip it. All your hard work for nothing. Because it's only 1/4 inch wide, 6 millimeter. Okay, I have 6 holes in here. Make them quite large, by the way. And then I'm going to glue these together. That's why I punch the holes first, because if these are glued, it's going to be a bit harder to punch them. And I'm going to glue these together and then punch them again. I think that's going to be the most comfortable way to go forward. So I'm simply going to do this with some glue stick. I'm gonna put some scrap paper underneath so I don't put glue all over my work surface. So I'm gonna add some glue over here. Doesn't really matter which side. And glue this piece on top. Make sure the aqua colored, nautical colored side, the side that you want to see, is on top. Then do the same on the other ring. The two bottom rings don't really matter which color you use. You can actually even use other paper. If I could, I would have used cardboard, but these things, even this one, this is a very heavy one, they don't cut cardboard without, they wouldn't survive it. You could probably punch once and then it will be broken. We don't want that, so I just layer up these cardstock pieces. Okay, gonna take my punching mat again, and I'm gonna punch through those holes again through the two other layers. I'm gonna keep this steady and keep my fingers on the paper so I won't rip it at all. Yeah, make the holes really large enough. And now first I'm going to ink the edges. So the edges of this whole thingy. This color makes it look a little bit more rusty, even though it's not a rusty color. I'm gonna try to do the inside as well. Yeah, it's a bit more tricky because the hole's not that large. For this you should have a really fine blending tool. That's all right. It works. It works. I'm going to take my box of brads, and most of the brads I have are rather large, different kinds of colors, but I also ordered ones, these really fine ones, antique bronze colored stuff. These are very fine and these are ideal to be nails. Okay, and I can just put them through these holes. Now, if you have stickers that look like nail heads, you don't have to punch holes, you can just glue them on, but I don't have them. So I put them through and then I open the legs with my thingy because they're actually rather sturdy, these legs. And I open them in a way so they won't show on the other side. And I'm going to do that with all 6 of them. So, and when that's finished, it's going to look a bit like this. It already looks a bit like a porthole. Now, when I see it this way, I obviously did something wrong with my measuring, but it's okay. Just measure better than I do. Simple. So, this goes on top here. Then you have your porthole. And I'm actually going to put an image behind here. And now I have this thing ready. I can choose on my embellishment pages to see what image I actually want behind my porthole. And it can be an animal like a seahorse as well, because maybe the porthole's underwater. You never know. So this one or this crab or part of it. Or a piece of this map. And there are actually also circles in here that could fit behind this porthole as well. They are a little bit larger than 1 inch, so you won't see any white. After consideration, I chose to use this head of the seahorse. So what I'm going to do is now quickly make some markings. What I want, just to see where I could punch this. Now, this is going to be too large. I'm probably going to have to cut off a little bit from the edges, but that's okay. Why? Because if I glue it on like this, this would show too much. So I'm just going to use my scissors. You won't see the edges if you cut them off. I'm going to cut off like 1/16 of an inch all around. Now, cutting circles is one of the hardest things to do by hand. But here it really doesn't matter because you won't see it. I just want to hide the edges. So, like this. Okay. See, most uneven circle in the world. And now I'm going to glue this on here in the center, as much as the center as possible. Let me take my scrap paper. Yeah. It's always handy to have a piece of scrap paper nearby. And now I'm going to glue this in the center here. Like this. And now I'm going to glue this on top. And I'm going to attach this with some firmer glue, because I would normally attach it with some double-sided tape, but it's a circle and it's not stretchy enough to actually stretch it around. So I'm just going to use some old-fashioned liquid strong glue. Don't glue yourself to this porthole, said no one in the past ever. Okay, I'm using too much glue. I'm afraid it's going to leak out, but let's see. Okay, doesn't matter which side. Okay. Look at that, really nice porthole. Let it dry. So, and then I'm going to give this a final ink on the edges of the larger circle as well. And now if you take our journal, you can place it here in the center or wherever you want. I wish I had, like I said, larger punches to make this a bit larger, but I think this is so cute on its own already. So, and to finish this cover, I am going to tear a piece of paper from here. I'm gonna tear this out. I'm gonna tear up so this makes a white kind of edge, frilly edge. And I do that on purpose, you will see. There. Oh yes, I printed all the embellishments on 160 grams paper. You can get away with 120 easily. This is a bit too much, perhaps. Oh, now I'm going to go the wrong way. So make little tears. This. I'm gonna tear this off next to it so I keep having the white border. This. And like this as well. You can use other paper, of course, as well. But if it's fully colored paper, you won't see the white edge, but maybe you don't want it. Okay, now I'm going to ink those edges. And because it's white, it's going to have a lot more color. That's just why. But it's totally optional, of course. Make it look old. I'm going to glue this piece on here. Of course, you can do whatever you want. I'm just giving you one option to embellish this cover. So, about in the center. This. Then I'm going to put some glue on the back of this porthole. There. And then I'm going to glue this on here. This. For the inside, we have some pockets if you like. Simply cut them out and then score the folding lines. Here. Fold them over. This. Perfect. Add some tape to the front of the tabs, very important. Put some tape against the fold on all three tabs. Yeah, if you manage to cut your tape on the angle, you can use the same angle again, and you can actually cover almost the whole tab, so that's very easy. That's why I love this thing. I can use it, as long as you have something straight and flat, you can just use it. This, take off tabs, and then Take off the backings, I mean. And then, so fold them over and then carefully put this on a page or in the front cover or the back cover or wherever you like it. Like this. Nice little pocket. Oh, I wanted to ink these edges, but now it's too late. No way back. And for example, this coupon ticket thingy will fit perfectly in here, or this tag, or both. These straight lines are of course very easy to cut, but the top and bottom are of course a bit harder to cut. Now, is it meant that you cut this super duper straight? No, that's impossible, but just wiggle your scissors around and try to kind of follow the edge. And that gives the most natural result, I think, like this. Just don't move your scissors, move the paper. Much easier. So, this is of course not exactly as this was printed, but it's actually a close match this way. It indicates how it could be. See these frilly lines as a guideline. Okay. Keep moving your paper like this. I want to ink these as well. And of course, if you don't want a white background, simply print a full sheet paper on the back. And this fits in here beautifully. And these tags fit in here as well beautifully. You can again ink the edges, punch a hole, add one of these ribbons or another ribbon, and just place them in here. And this way you can play with all the embellishments that are included in this kit. Okay, I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial how to make this journal. Of course, there are a lot of other ways, but this is how I like to make one. If you want to discover this Nautical junk journal project pack in our shop, please click on the link below and you will see everything that you will get. Don't hesitate to share this video with your friends if you think they might like it. And I wish you a beautiful day. Bye bye.